Alright, Night 4 in Vampire the Masquerade. Back in New York. We keep going with the story. December 2024 for Night Still New Year. The Lifeline Prelude, Night 4. The concept of sleep completely changes when you become one of us. You don't really get gently lulled by the warmth of the Morpheus embrace, more like tossed into dark, depthless waters where the cold suffocates you till you can't feel anything. Waking up doesn't exactly leave you rested, but it's not quite exhaustion either. It's more like a narrow escape from some fathomless and terrible threat, which doesn't at all explain why I feel so fucking exhausted as I make my way into Padraig's, tuning out the lively chaos of New York streets on a chilly December night. Even the city's festive lights scattered among the grey urban landscape can lift my spirits, and never can delicate glimmer of the snow. Do vampires ever suffer from seasonal depression? Because it sure as hell feels like I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Padraig managed to blend in seamlessly with the scenery, yet I spot him from a block away near his haven. Uncharacteristically, both his hands are buried in his pockets instead of fumbling with that lifeline ring of his. His head is bowed, eyes aimlessly fixed on the pavement as usual. Let's make it weird. Hey, what is Kendra like you do in a place like this? His expression softens to a wry smile. Oh, this old place? It's just where I hang out. I was actually waiting for you. I jokingly found myself with my hand. Phew, it's getting hot in here. How about we switch gears? Tell me what's the forecast with Kaiser tonight? Well, to be perfectly frank, we can expect a cold front of hostility. I roll my eyes. Fantastic, another enemy is just what I need here. It's not quite like that. To put it plainly, Kaiser's presence is nothing short of repulsive. I'm yet to encounter another conduit who's inherently distasteful. However, I must implore you to bite your tongue. If we want answers, we must suffer the insufferable, I'm afraid. Well, I can't make any promises. I'll give it a shot, but we both know how that it's likely to turn out. Maybe it's best if you do all the talking. Absorbing would be my preference, but I think we can manage. As a brief, pregnant pause, and then I succumbed to the urge I distracted. What do you think Kaiser will want from us in return? Before I can form my words into words, a monstrous upland limousine screeches to a halt beside us. It tires right up against the curb. Padraig braces himself and gives me a resolute, and just as the limousine door bursts open and a lanky guy steps out, he looks kinda sickly and definitely dodgy. My hand automatically moves to discreetly shield my belt back from him. Come on in, the boss is waiting. So I thought I was ready for anything after Padraig's warnings and all the nasty rumors about Kaiser, but man, was I totally off. That Nosferatu in full Broker's face is even more hideous than I could imagine, and the limo far from the swanky vibe I expected. Instead, we are in a high-tech paradise. Top-tier peripherals, touchpads, laptops, phones, tablets, the works. It feels so much like my own geeky heaven that I have to sit on my hands to stop myself from touching everything. I'm so caught up in all the cool gadgetry that I forget about Kaiser's fabled mean streak. So when his grating, nasally voice cuts through the engine's hum, I nearly jump out of my skin. Wow, Kaiser, listen up. You fuckwits, time is money, and you're clearly broke as shit. Spill it now, piss it off out of my eyes. Oh hell no. Who the fuck do you think, you asshole? How about I piss all over your rider? I might have lost my cool a bit there. I don't even need to look at Padraig to know he's seething with frustration, but I'm not backing down that easily. Kaiser just scoffs and glares at me, giving me the silent treatment for what feels like forever. Look at that. This one got some bite in her fangs. Reminds me of someone I really don't like. His hand moves toward his leg and he clenches it too tightly. His knuckles dance under his awful skin. Interesting. Alright, let's cut the crap. Conroy tells me you are itching to dig into the circulatory system database because that fucking castle screwed the poach big time. I raised an eyebrow at Bedray. I hadn't really thought about what setting up a meeting entailed, but I definitely didn't expect Kaiser to scold the three intel. Padraig's frown suggests that Kaiser might snag some secrets of the sly. Basically, yeah, quick and to the point. Couldn't have put it a bit better myself. Cause you couldn't, you and me. My god, what a douche. Kaiser flashes me a grin with those shark-like teeth, and I can tell if he's amused of trying to be threatening, so I just put on my best tough girl face. And since I'm the one sticking my neck out here, you're gonna do this way. Capiche? All I can do is clench my jaw and nod, resisting the urge to knock out all these pearly sharps of his. Thankfully, Padraig suddenly remembered he's supposed to do the talking. So, judging by all this hardline posturing, I assume you have some plan up your sleeve, Kaiser. Watch your mouth, Conroy, you in my space now. I'm dying to throw some snark his way again, but I choke back the urge. Padraig's stern glaive definitely plays a part in that. Here's the deal. I've set up a meeting at the main office of the circulatory system, posing as high-rolling venture autarkies looking to dump some cash into the pit. Now, name. What? What exactly do we call these autarkies? Didn't I just tell you to shut your trap? The faster I'm done, the faster you fuckers stop stinking up my car. Maybe if you spill all the beans now, I won't need to drill you with more questions later, yeah? Callie has a point, Kaiser. We need to be thorough about every last detail if we are to pull this off. The name is Mr. Tiburon, you twats. Satisfied? That's more like it. Go on. Unbelievable. Now the Tarkis, Mr. Tiburon, he ain't about to mingle with lowlifes himself, so he's sending his goons, that's you morons, to handle the big deal on his behalf. Those blue blood assholes are so hungry for a back, they'll jump at any fucking chance they get. That's your ticket into their fortress. Out of nowhere he whips out the 2 ID cards and flicks them at us. There's a note slapped onto mine with a sticky mess of glue, sporting a Staten Island address in hand. So sloppy is practically criminal. This here is your golden fucking key into that dump. Lose it and you're fucked, capiche? Capiche? What do you do next? And on you'll find a database in their labs. We all set. That's all we need. Am I good, Padraig? Good to go? Actually, I wanted to check that address. Time up, pretty boy. Just then, the limo swerved dramatically to the right and screeches to a halt on the sidewalk. The sound of honking cars filling the air. Deal sealed. Now get the hell out. I've got real business to handle. In ensuing chaos, we scramble out of the limo under the harsh glare of streetlights. The urgent tone of Kaiser's farewell echoing behind us. I'll be at the spot on the note. Don't screw this up or else. Padraig and I stand motionless, caught in a kind of limbo, watching as Kaiser's limo dodges through traffic, disappears around the corner, and slips out of sight. Well, that could have gone way worse, right? We extracted more from that meeting than mere invectives. I would say it went quite well. So this batshit crazy plan, we're actually going to break into the circulatory system and inject their data. I mean, it's right up my alley, but yeah, the plan is utterly mad, yet it seems we have no other option. Padraig appears eerily composed as if the idea of being caught red-handed at the circulatory system hasn't crossed his mind, but I can tell the wheels are turning. He's probably stressed to the point of zen. I chew on my lip and think, I can go it alone. Look, you really don't need to get mixed up on this. I can just sleep in solo and... No. And you know my every move? It's not like the console's gonna rip you a new one of it. The console has nothing to do with it. It's just too risky. I quickly look away so that he doesn't see my flustered smile. Look, I might not be the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to technology, but I can create a diversion, help you get in and out safely. Yeah, well, I won't argue with that. It's just you already take a lot for the team. Worry not, I'm in this willingly. I agree broadly and nod with gusto. Alright, let's hit it. My mood shifts dramatically as soon as we buckle up in Padraig's car and take off toward our goal. I feel almost numb, the way my brain buzzes with uncoordinated thoughts like giant, incomprehensible beehive. Out of the corner of my eye, I catch Padraig throwing concerned glances my way before he decides to break his silence. Is everything okay? Yeah? It's just that I might not know Reynard as well as I thought I did. The circulatory system, the antediluvians, some enigmatic powerful backer. I'm not even sure who he is anymore, and it's not like I can just ask him right now. Padraig absorbs my words, mulling over their thought in a heavy silence. I get it. It's really unsettling to realize you don't truly know someone you thought you were close to. Guess a ticking clock isn't making things any easier, huh? It fucking doesn't, but cheers for the reminder. My apologies, wasn't trying to reduce stress. Yeah, I get it. But hey, I playfully smacked his shoulder, forcing a smile through the strain. At least you won't be stuck with me much longer, right? His attention snaps from the road to me. His look, one of the unexpected irritation. You know, I take no joy at the fuss of holding you before the Primogen Council. Should we fail to capture Castle? I swiftly turn my head away and look out the window. Well, I do now. Man, we're going to Kaiser. Every second near Kaiser makes me want to punch a wall, but still his little cloak and a dagger act might be what we need to break the circulatory system. Padraig and I spent a solid 5 minutes just gazing up at the building we're about to infiltrate, our necks craned, completely silent. Color me psyched, I guess. That's one massive fucking building if I ever seen one. Indeed, it might complicate our plan, as vile as that is. It's probably packed with high-tech security and the usual batch of guards lurking around every corner. Yet, there are also plenty of empty spots we could use to lay low. Look at you, picking up the tricks of the trade. Let's not just sit around, time is running out. The interior of the circulatory system branch is artfully incognito, masquerading as a budget-friendly medical clinic. Its perfect cover under the radar, ignored by its upper classes and the authorities, and with a constant, justifiable stream of visitors at all hours, even the undoubtedly ones. Like right now, for instance. And here I am, ready to dive into the fray. Ready? Padraig nods and right in front of my eyes undergoes a profound transformation. His whole demeanor morphs into something snooty, refined, and downright disdainful of everything. His usual slouch disappears, replaced by a straightened back, lifted chin, and square shoulders. He could pass for some stuck-up young hair from their wealthy family if it weren't for this tacky shirt and flashy rings tucked away in his pockets. Mr. Tiburon's very own stooge. He strides toward, oozing confidence and poise, while I told myself into his shadow and become practically invisible. The moment we step into the foyer, all eyes on us, or more accurately on Padraig, a dashing young concierge with a placid smile hurries over to greet us. Padraig makes a show of coldly refusing to reciprocate his warm and polite greetings, immediately asserting himself as domineering and difficult client. In the meantime, I kept quiet behind his back, my face impassive and supremely bored. If I had gum, I'd be blowing bubbles like it's nobody's business. As planned, we get separated. Padraig leaves with the concierge to discuss business, while I'm paired up with another employee, a young woman named Nima, who at Padraig's film request is tasked with showing me around the labs as soon as possible. She tries to smile at me, but my stony face wins out in the battle of expressions. "Shall we go, ma'am?" I simply shrug and nod in response, and we make our way toward the elevators. The moment we step into the labs, my persona flips. I make sure that my tour guide sees my eyes widen and take the smile that almost splits my face in half. One look at her back in foyer told me all I needed to know about this Nima and how to manipulate her. She clearly loves her job and takes enormous amount of pride in it, and nothing would make her happier than sharing every single detail about it. All she needs is willing ear. Well, here I am, both ears wide open. I bombard her with questions, and she happily obliged, growing more and more animated with each answer. But more that she talks, the more distracted she becomes. She shows me around many, for my purposes, useless room, and then I feel something small scuttle between my boots. I glance down. A mouse? Really? Is this the level of cleanliness we're dealing with here? This little bloodthirsty creature probably chews on blood bags for fun. About 15 minutes later, we enter a large laboratory on the other side, in which I spy incomprehensible glass gadgets, several rows of coolers with blood, and a PC connected to the local intranet. Perfect. So silence it does. Silence, protect me. I turn to Nima with an eager smile and leisurely lean against the desk with a PC blocking the display with my body. So you told me a lot about the experiments you conduct here. How does that work mathematically? She tosses me a confused look, but obligingly takes out dry erase marker from the pocket of her lab coat and starts writing some quotations on whiteboard, narrating as she goes. That's my cue. I tune her out immediately, instead taking her melodious voice and spinning it around me like a dampener or shield. Every single noise I make is absorbed, or blended seamlessly into the swirling vortex enveloping me. The sound is impressible even to my own ears. Man, 2 a.m. Kinda tired. I keep a keen eye on Nima, alternating between quietly fumbling with the PC and pretending I'm listening to her in those brief moments where she stops her lecture and turns around to make sure I have no questions. I have none, of course, not only because I have no idea what she's talking about, but also due because my shield steals my voice as well as my steps. The keyboard clicks, the rustle of my clothes. The PC is password protected, of course. Hacking isn't exactly my forte, but I'm good at predicting mortal laziness. The password on the post-it stuck to a notebook on a desk. I access the PC and hastily make a copy of the database, freezing intermittently to notice shake my head as Nima glances back at me while my free hand tries to get inside the computer case. Mere seconds before Nima closes her marker and slips into her back to her pocket, I manage to slide the case open, gently extract the portable hard drive, put it into my belt bag, and close the case back shut. Is there anything else you'd like me to explain? You'd like me to explain, man? I quickly drop my shield and smile at her, shaking my head. No, thank you for taking the time to indulge me so thoroughly. You'd make an excellent teacher. She blushes. Perhaps she's not used to receiving compliments. Maybe she's hoping for a recommendation from her little boss. Well, she's gonna be disappointed. It seems that Nima is done with her tour, so we stroll back to the foyer. It seems our little tour is over. Thank you for showing me around. It was my pleasure, ma'am. I wait for what feels like forever before Padraig sweeps into the foyer, followed closely by the concierge who was practically tripping over himself to keep up. He's drawing Padraig in apologies and desperate pleas for future meetings, his face going from flushed to pale as a ghost. Meanwhile, Padraig pulling out the whole disappointed VIP act like a pro, effortlessly brushing off apologies and offers for better deals. It's cheap performance of lifetime or maybe several. I can barely hold my back laughter, especially when he heads for the door without a second glance, snapping his fingers at me to follow. I manage to keep up my obedient facade as we leave the circulatory system and hop into Padraig's car. It's unclear if they notice someone making off with their precious data, but the circulatory system does immediately come after us at last. Padraig's clearly geared up for a pursuit. The way he's maneuvering through the streets, pedal to the metal, eyes freaking around like paranoid squirrel on a lookout for a tail. Let's go faster. You know, I think I saw someone following us. Maybe pick up a pace bit just in case. He gives me this wary look, reviving the engine a tad before catching on to my little game. He eases off the accelerator, blending into traffic as we head back toward Brooklyn. I'm guessing you part of that carpet went smoothly. Smooth as silk. Had a bit of fun in the lab downstairs, but hey, got what I came for without breaking a sweat. Quite an adventurous night, I see. I toss my head back and laugh, catching his genuine smile out of the corner of my eye. You could say that, and you enjoyed going all snobby rich kid on that poor concierge? He shrugs, all casual like. I have little sympathy for venture girls. As far as I'm concerned, they signed up for this job and all its perks. Ice cold, man, impressive too. Stick around me a little longer and I'll make a con artist out of you just yet. Who's to say I'm not one already? I can't help but burst into laughter again, straight from the depths of my shriveled heart, completely genuine. Full of bias, man, quest, time to dive into this ocean of data and pray our shark picks up the scent of something that I'll make the whole health worth it. Boy, I need to drink some green shake. Kaiser keeps up handing up the meetup point like it's a personal joke. Clearly his way of saying, fuck you. His massive limo finally rolls up and we hurried inside by the same lanky guy as before. The door slams shut behind us with a resounding thud. Padraig and I barely get a moment to settle before Kaiser impatiently extends his hand, signaling for me to hand over the stolen hard drive. I'm tempted to give him a high five first, but I figure he might toss me out the window or something. He plugs the drive into one of his many laptops and silently sifts through the data. A satisfied grin spreads across his grotesque face. Must hit the jackpot with some serious dirt on the city's big shots, maybe even beyond that. Suddenly he lets out a long, sharp whistle, his hairless eyebrows shooting skyward. They've got a shit ton on Castle. A shit ton, huh? My gut churns uneasily. Lay it on me. Are you sure you want to dig into this? Cause from where I'm sitting, he's royally fucked. I swallow nervously, but there's no hesitation in my voice. Yeah, hit me with it. But with pleasure. He showed a scan of report from FBI Special Affairs Division. The file apparently intercepted by an unnamed circulatory system associate. It's chock full of Reynard photos, videos, you name it. And according to this rap sheet here, he pulls up another file, the system's examination of consciousness, with Reynard's name. He's balled deep in every kind of shady deal you can think of. Look at this, selling rare blood, mortal trafficking, nothing new there. Breaching the Masquerade, yada yada yada. Corroborating with SAD like hell. Diablerie? No, that's horseshit. I can feel Pedreg's gaze on me, but I refuse to meet it in fear that he might actually read something from my ass. I'm not saying okay, most of that stuff kinda rings a bell. A mere a week ago I was the one pulling the strings behind the merchandise transfers through my dark web channels. Now that I always knew what was being snuffed around, I'm not sure how much I would have cared even if I knew. I've dabbled in some truly nasty shit both after and before my embrace. See, it's him mixing in shady red market deals and being sloppy enough to get on the SAD's radar that's got castle plastered all over the circulatory system's dartboard. Is there anything else worth mentioning? Yeah, there is. Arm straight. What the fuck? That's actually news to me. Also, again, I'm not unheard of kindred dipping their toes and selling guns. Is that an issue? Gun running? Please. This whole country stands on semi-automatic legs. The problem is whom he's trading with. But it doesn't even matter now that... No way that dumb fuck alone could. How did they put it? Coordinate a weapon deal with a high-profile mortal. And he stops talking. Yeah, so I count to 10 and ask. Does it say who that mortal is? Kaiser shrugs dismissively, still looking through the pages. Nope, the rest is all redacted. Must be some important asshole or a dangerous one. Or they have no idea. And speaking of, they got Castle mixed up with that Hudson, which she's right up there on the circulatory system hit list too, I guess. Man, I'm not gonna read that. Not much doing it, nothing I don't already know, at least. The tire freezes in my veins. I exchange bleak glances with Pedreg, remembering Sansarek's words about Reynard getting even cockier in his new powerful patron, the silver-pointed queen of the Hudson River. Maybe it's a good idea to wheedle some more information about her out of Kaiser. Who again? Never heard of her. Pedreg shoots me a warning look, which frankly I don't understand. Intel is power, my guy. Cause you wouldn't know. Your ravens don't exactly deal in brains, do you? I bare my fangs at him and he's a split second from ripping out his wild tongue, but Pedreg's hand on my shoulder keeps me in check. How about you tell me about Vitra and I'll forget to bash your head in? Face it, I hate it, but you earned your share. No one knows jack shit about her, not even me. All I can say is Vitra, no one twisted bitch. There's whispers she's tangled with a black hand. Zero proof of that though, and believe me, I'd know if there was any. Pedreg visibly twitches and gets busy spinning his drink. The black hand, you mean the Sabbath? And they extinct on the East Coast? They were driven out of New York City 2 decades ago. It does not mean they're extinct. Conroy always seems to know too damn much, but yeah, bingo. Still, I don't know, I don't buy that. She's with them, doesn't fit her style of playing the big game. Care to elaborate on that? He sinks deeply, as if my questions cause him immense agony, but then starts talking almost immediately. Maybe he actually wants to talk but can't, cause he's got a reputation to uphold. Don't know, man, is that a Nosferatu thing or something? D'Angelo also chatty as hell. About a year and a half back, Ritra just pops up in New York overnight, takes over the whole city, whole Hudson and Island, Staten Island, and then poof, vanishes off the grid. What do you mean? I thought she'd been keeping the city in check the whole time. She's been lying pretty low for a kindred, annihilating anyone trying to parley or step onto her turf. She's brutal. If Castles really is in cahoots with her and still keeps his head, that's no small feat. The big wigs probably want him just for pulling that off. But don't get it twisted, whatever shit they're spinning, it ain't really part of Castle's plan. I furrow my brows. It's an angle I haven't even thought about, and by the look of sheer panic flashing over Padraig's face, neither has be. Nobody knows what Ritra's game is, which is exactly why every fucker and their Sarah is in town once they're gone. Volatility is a bitch for keeping order here in the Big Apple. From what I've seen, that's pretty much a typical kindred push and pull in big cities. Seems to me like she's just the other side of the same coin here, but with one non-negotiable rule. Padraig butts in, his voice firm and cold. Yes, don't fuck with Ritra. Kaiser just shrugs, visibly annoyed, indicating he's done with the conversation. His sharp eyes go back to looking through the SAS file on Reynard. I'll ask directly, got anything else interesting in there? Kaiser gives me the cold shoulder for a bit long enough that I'm starting to get itchy and impatient. But just when I'm about to open my mouth to say something stupid in spite of Padraig subtly but insistently shaking his head at me, Kaiser starts talking again. There are certain conjectures about Addison Payne in this report. Addison Payne? Where isn't that old fart is in a wheelchair from the Camarilla? The one and only paraplegic blue blood cunt. So what conjectures about are we talking about here? Is in from the SAD file. They are straight from the Silk system based on the shit they found in their records. There's been talk about Payne and where he really stands, all because he apparently was buying spiked blood from Castle. Payne buying from Castle? Why would he do that? Eventually, his position has no need to stoop so low. Seems like about a month or so ago some venture began pushing to cut off Payne's access to his Silk system privileges. Crafty little shits, I'll give them that. What is that supposed to mean? Kaiser grins at him unpleasantly. Can you really trust a man who uses someone else's voice to speak? Just let that sink in, Conroy. What that's supposed to mean? Kaiser just ignores me, slams the laptop close and grabs on the glass at the driver. The limo swerves hard to the right and comes to a full screeching halt. The door next to me pops open. That's all I got for you. Now take him and get off. Hold up, I want a copy of that file. Kaiser stares at me like I've grown a second head, then bursts out of laughing. It sounds like the croak of a dying frog. And you comedian, now get the hell out, or I'll throw you out myself. Well, we're still mortal after all the revelation of tonight, Padraig, and I would probably hunker down in a dim corner of the bar, drinking our, well, mine mostly sorrows away, and unraveling the tangled skein of our findings. Since we can't stomach alcohol, we just wander around in silence for a while until we settle on a tiny little bench hidden beneath a naked winter tree. There, well, I'd like to say that we talk, but it's more like a floodgate bursting within me, unleashing a tidal wave of pent-up frustrations, and Padraig just quietly lets me rant, slowly spinning his drink and nodding from time to time. The sheer number of times Reynard pops up in this SAD files is pretty concerning, not only because of the actual shit he's pulled, but also because he's been so damn sloppy about it. They have so much stuff on him, stuff that could have easily been avoided if he just put a bit of thought into his actions and kept me in the loop maybe. Like, it's no coincidence that there's nothing specific about me in that file, you know. I clean up after myself thoroughly, I think. Regular people wouldn't find shit, and Reyna left so much trail behind him. I'm surprised he's not in some kindred Guantanamo by now. They could bag him without breaking a sweat. Padraig gives him a skeptical hum, leaning forward and examining his drink. And yet they haven't. Perhaps that speaks volumes about your sire's ability to dodge bullets, even deep in hostile trenches. I snort inelegantly. Yeah, I guess he's ravens after all. There's a few bits of silence before Patrick speaks up again. An idea we Reynard might be dealing in arms with mortal. I sigh deeply, feeling the air expand my lungs more than humanly possible, and shake my head. Honestly, Padraig, I feel like I don't know shit anymore. I mean, Reynard was never particularly precious towards mortals, so I thought maybe we'd end up wrangling some eventually, but now I just don't know. Plus, arms dealing, that's so I don't know. It's not our style, you know. We are ravenous, we are tricksters, con artists, not warlords. I can't recall dealing with any single mortal since my embrace almost 2 years ago. If Reynard was peddling something, I'd expect it to be fake shit, decoys or whatever, but guns, it just doesn't make any sense. Pedrick gives that deliberate cough of his, the prelude to dropping some unsettling truth. I hate to be the bearer of harsh truths, but I get the feeling that you never truly knew your sire. A couple of nights ago I would have flipped out of that suggestion. By now I collect a handful of grateful from the ground and toss bit by bit into a puddle of melting show. I don't even know anymore. Can anybody say that they really know someone? Hell, do we even know ourselves? Patrick smiles at me. What are we if not the secrets we kept, right? I smile right back at him. Who came up with that nugget? I need to shake her hand or something. You know, I think you shouldn't be blaming yourself for dishonesty. It is quite literally not your fault. Nobody can go through this ordeal expecting to be crossed at every given moment, especially by those we trust the most. That would be pretty miserable existence, don't you think? I'm not equipped to unpack all that right now, sorry. Besides, I have no cash on me for that therapy session you are pushing for Dr. Conroy. His smile a little wry, but not hostile at all. You know, thinking about it, we've been hunting down my sire for 4 nights, and I realize I know jack shit about yours. Care to share a bit? And in the spirit of this painful, awkward moment, he keeps quiet for a little while. Frankly, I can't tell you much about them because I don't know myself. What do you mean? I simply don't know who embraced me. He clears his throat and hesitates, while I fight the urge to dig deeper. It's faint memory now, but I remember almost dying towards the end of World War II, somewhere along the Western Front, I think, and then I remember crawling out of pile of corpses the next night. That is all. I assume I was embraced by a fellow soldier, but there's really no way to confirm. But Drake, I'm so sorry. I pat him awkwardly on the shoulder, and he nods, looking not at me, but at his lucky wink. I have come to terms with it, but I appreciate the sentiment. We sit in silence a bit longer. There are many people around, but the city still feels alive, bustling even at 3 in the morning in late December. The air between us is a little tense. Probably shouldn't have prodded about his sire, but, well, I'm me. I scramble for a few new topics, and remember, we haven't finished discussing our latest scoop from the circulatory systems database. So what I can wrap my head around is why someone like Pay in a big shot adventurer would go to such lengths to avoid buying blood for the company he partially owns. Is he like trying to back out, tank their stock on purpose or what? Or maybe he's plotting to start his own gig? Hard to see how with all the venture red tape, but maybe could be setting up Reynard and his go-to supplier, or is that stretching it too much? Indeed, that does seem like a stretch. It's no audacious, almost disrespectful move, not really Payne's way of doing things, especially when he's trying to assert Penhart. But why else would he do that? The file did say he was buying spiked blood from Reynard. That's oddly specific. Maybe that particular type wasn't available through the circulatory system. I mean, all blood bags are spiked. That's the only way they stay edible. One of the reasons why the resident Duskborn alchemist had so much shit to do all the time in our gang. Pereg hums thoughtfully, slowly spinning his drink. Well, I'm stumped, but hopefully we can find a way to use that information to your advantage when we face the council. You mean like exposing Payne as a fraud right in front of everyone? Damn, Conroy, that's some serious badassery for you. It would be badassery if we had any evidence of these suspicions, which we unfortunately do not. I deflate a little, clicking my tongue. I guess that's an obstacle. How does Ritra fit into all this? The ever-elusive mistress of the Hudson River. Think we could dangle her as a bait before the council? Drake stills at Stephens, spinning the dice ring as fast as his hands allow. I forgot he's irrationally terrified of her. I'm grasping at straws, I know, but everyone's freaked out by her. I'm not saying Reynard usually shies away from tough classes, but there's so many easier targets to scam. It's all so fucked up, I don't get any of it. I don't understand either. He so doesn't want to talk about her. Fine, I'll let him off the hook at this time. The weight of tonight's events is starting to crush me, and maintaining these upbeat mask and win anyway. Thankfully, this time it's Padraig who breaks the awkward silence. Tonight marks the last night, the grace period Kadir gave you. All your lists have dried up. It is unlikely we would find anything else of use anyway. I think we have enough circumstantial proof to clear your name in the eyes of the council. We could trade in for your freedom. You mean for a longer leash? They won't clear me unless I hand over Reynard, and we both know it. Sure, we have some solid clues, but they just that. The way that Camarilla treated me, well, I'm not exactly optimistic about return empty-handed. Best scenario order me to stay in the city and give me another impossible task. Worst case scenario, Kadir takes me my head clean off my shoulders, and I don't even know where that leaves you. Technically, you were just supposed to keep an eye on me, but I guess Chevagli and Padraig says defeated. Yeah, he's good as the starless sky. There's still time until sunrise, but I doubt we'll find anyone at Elysium tonight. He gives me a careful once over, doubt and pity clear as stars in his eyes. Do you have a safe place to stay today? You're welcome at my heaven if needed. The couch should still be there, I believe. I crack a faint smile. Should still be there, huh? Good thing you didn't get into sales, cause you wouldn't sell shit. I have some options, I guess. I've only used a couple of our safe houses around New York so far. I don't know, can I catch up with you later or something? I need some time to think on my own. He looks at me for a long time while tilting his head hesitantly while his spidery fingers slowly spin his dice ring. And then he just stops and nods curtly. Take your time, I'll wait for you until dawn. I chuckled disbelievingly, unable to keep just a little bit of bitterness creeping into my voice. What if I skip town or something, taking advantage of your misjudged generosity? I don't think you will. You haven't thus far, have you? He stands looking down at me intently. I see, but we can turn this Titanic around before it crashes into the iceberg. We just need to get a hold of the steering wheel. He gives my shoulder a reassuring pat and strides off into the night, leaving me to my ruminations. Same river twice. If I hit an astronomical, I can go like two places. Blood and cigarettes, detour. I don't know what to do anymore. Thinking is a dead end, but clearing in my head seems equally out of reach. I will at least try to get my shit together, or I might as well cut off my own head before the sheriff does it for me. Just a detour, same river twice. Let's go, blood and cigarettes. As I try to piece together the scattered details for the past few nights, the less likely it seems that tomorrow will end on a high note, for me at least. Aside from Padraig, I have no allies in Elysium. Forget allies, I'd settle for anyone who doesn't despise me at this point, but earning neutrality, let alone favor, seems like a tall order when I have nothing but half-baked pleats. Honestly, I'd rather fixate on my impending doom. Any other thoughts just make me want to collapse and melt into the slush. And decide where to crash tonight. Forget it. I've got two wolves inside me, and both are assholes. So I wander around trying to clear my head. Because honestly, I don't even know what to think anymore. My mind's racing so fast. It could win a drag race, even with a trunk full of tofu. Where did this thought even come from? I lift my eyes, realizing I haven't looked up in like half an hour. The fact that I didn't accidentally stroll into some sketchy alley and straight into Hunter Party is nothing short of a miracle, but I don't recognize this area at all. Nothing really pops, just some storefronts dripping with holiday cheer and a fast food spot I've never heard of before. Big Beat Burger. Well, there's some local color for you. I should really get moving. The night is Why do I always bump into the most unlikely people in the most unlikely places? I turn around. It's Julia stepping right out of that fast food joint. How? But seeing you wandered into my territory, I guess you're just stalking me. Which, just so you know, I'm not a fan of it. Stalking, you literally just walked out of. Why would I even stalk you? Julia pulls out a pack of cigarettes without breaking eye contact. Clearly to bar me up and get me on your side tomorrow night. What else? Damn, what did I think of that? And really, you couldn't have chosen worse target. You want sweet talk, anything out of me. I already have a soft spot for underdogs. Reynard is an absolute asshole, but he got one thing right. I'm shit when it comes to politicking. Well, sorry to disappoint. I was just moping around, not trying to pull off any grand schemes. But hey, thanks for the vote of confidence. She gives a hollow laugh and lights her cigarette. We share a quiet moment for a bit, and just when the silence starts to feel unbearably heavy, I know that the fast food joint. I wouldn't have guessed you into beef and fries. Julia just shrugs dismissively. Consider it my personal hangout. Costs me a cup of coffee a night and comes with a few perks. Like, what kind of perks? She flashes a mischievous smile, and I immediately know it's better not to dig any further. So I assume your little investigation didn't interrupt much. Castle still off the radar. I just not feeling defeated. I mean, we dug up a giant pile of shit, and guess who's smack in the middle of it? Ray. She raised her hand to stop me. Keep the details to yourself. I'm not the one who you should be confessing to anyway. Plus, I'd rather not have to pretend to be surprised tomorrow night. Just tell me how you feel about what you uncovered. Suddenly, I'm mentally dragged through the past 3 nights. The memories crush into my mind uninvited. I feel like I've got nothing solid, just a mess of he said, she said, with some guesses in the mix. Honestly, I feel like shit, both about what we found and all the implications. Julia watches me quietly for a moment, assessing me, but maybe it's hard to read the expression in those pale eyes of hers. She takes a long drag from her cigarette before speaking. Just little friendly advice, Callie. Whatever you decide to do, however you plan to handle this mess, don't hold back. Keep up the momentum, push hard, don't even think of falling. Because if you show up looking as dejected as you do now, they'll dismantle you piece by piece and eat you alive. And that would be a real shame. She crosses her cigarette under her heel and starts to walk away. Cheer up, little, would you? Your face looks like sour milk. Yeah, thanks. She looks back, giving me a sidelong glance. What for? I didn't even see you here, let alone give you advice. She fades into the night, leaving me with more questions than answers, and maybe, just maybe, a spark that might grow one night into a less shitty version of what I feel right now. I need to move on. The dawn's almost there here. Well, Sam River twice. We hit an astronomical level of bad luck. Crashing up a Drake once more will probably turn me into a sorry pile of trash he'll have to sweep up at sundown, like with a broom. But after all the crap we found about Reynard, I honestly couldn't care less. Let's go. I've been trying to get my shit together for that last hour, just walking these damn streets of New York. Spoiler alert, it's not working. I don't even know why I told Padraig to leave me alone. I usually keep people close to stop my brain from going to dark places. Turns out too much me time just lets the shitty feelings take over. And the simple act of putting one foot in front of the another doesn't soothe the anger, the hurt and the betrayal. These emotions cling me like leeches, refusing to let go. All that crap, the gestures, the pep talks, our geeks making me think we had a bond, lies, all of it just hurts. So yeah, I'm still a mess inside my gritted teeth, keeping my dry tears at bay. Right now, I'd seriously rather chew off my own tongue than give Reynard the satisfaction of hearing me sob. Every part of me is screaming for some kind of release, some justice. I even have this crazy urge to just smash anything about me that reminds me of Reynard. But honestly, what would even be left of me? If that already met his final death, I swear to God, if I could find his ash, I'd spit on them. Shit, who am I kidding? I'm such a pathetic loser. I'd probably forgive him in a second if he came back, even if he doesn't give a damn. Christ, This sucks so much, but bah, it doesn't matter. The dawn's coming up fast and it's time to settle down for the day. And I could use some company, even if it means potentially screwing myself over by crashing twice in the same place so soon. A shred of clarity returns to my mind eventually. I find myself grinning at Padraig's heaven across the street, my hands still trembling from the shitstorm of emotions I'm barely keeping under control. I know I shouldn't be here, shouldn't be risking my ass, but right now I'm so over everything that I seriously don't give a fuck. Now gently, I lift my head and tap on the front door softly. The noise is so faint, it is almost lost in the night. Suddenly the door creaks open and there's Padraig with an armful of books. He moves quickly, letting me into the safety of his heaven. Come in, sun's about to rise. Everything is exactly the way it should be. Nothing out of place, not even the couch. You didn't oversell it. The couch is definitely still here. I guess it's far too old to sprout legs and walk off. He grins at me and bit too confident in the quality of his joke. I know it's not stylish, but I'm quite fond of it. Nevertheless, let's say it championly dilapidated. Would you rather use their bed tonight? It wouldn't be any. I throw my hand up and immediately cut him off. No, that's okay, just making sure we won't find ourselves in the infamous only one bed situation. Padraig tilts his head and an unspoken question hand in the air. I mean, into all the bookish stuff I thought, never mind, it's nothing, believe me. He nods and goes back to whatever he was sorting out his shelves. I take that as my cue to slip away to the corner of the couch. I'm too tired to speak, which is rare for me. I shut my eyes briefly, fingers tapping restlessly on my legs. It's a futile effort to calm the lighter irritation. My movements only seem to stir it up more. Care to share what's on your mind? Your thoughts are so loud, they practically blend with my voices. No rest for the weak, but just going through my list of excuses for tomorrow night, cause you know I'd like to keep my head where it is. I think of anything in particular? Not really, but I'm just desperate. I'd like to know your thoughts on it. The background noise of shifting books and fluttering pages stops, and the couch sinks with the added weight right next to me. The council doesn't have stellar track record lately when it comes to making rational decisions. However, the webs of your Sarah's connections is extensive, which absolves you of direct involvement. The council has no reason to put you down. His tone is soothing, you're decisive. What happened is not your fault, Callie. I'll stand by you tomorrow, that is a promise. I must look like a hot mess, cause Padraig's expression is one of concern. His brow creased, lips parted, eyes searching the mind. He pauses, assessing the moment before carefully invading my personal space. A flicker of total surprise crosses my face before I can mask it. His hand moves behind me, and I hear a soft click as he clasps something in his hand. I almost forgot, you'll make better use of them. Confused, I look down to see what he's handed to me. Batteries for my trusty old Walkman. That's been a paperweight for the last 3 nights. It's such a nice gesture, but instead of joy there's this sad twist in my gut. It feels pointless, like all of it. Right now picking a tune feels like a dream as choosing my last meal. Are you sure you're right? Nope, I'm a mess. Yeah, everything's fine, thanks. I guess I'm not really in the mood for music right now, but I really appreciate the thought. I managed to shake a smile, my voice quivering a bit. He nods, totally gets I need some space and gives me room to breathe. I fall down the couch, totally wiped. I shove 2 batteries into Walkman and the rest into my belt bag. Then my hand brushes against the wooden stake. Its gritty texture just another shitty reminder that and I've been dodging night after night. I grip it as if I could scrub away the mix of anger, desperation and fear is brewing like a storm in my chest. I've handled storms before, but this one is dark, man, really dark, creeping into every freaking shadowy corner of my brain and just sticking there. I grip the stake even harder as the all too familiar darkness slowly descends upon my mind. Earlier that night. Whoa, the Unisphere, that's Intermission nightfall. When you talk about cleansing New York from the so-called rot underneath, Mr. Fletcher, is this part of your elaborate campaign to position yourself in the incoming mayoral election? It's not about political ambition, it's about addressing issues that have been neglected for far too long. New York is facing challenges that can be solved by traditional governances alone. Talking about deep systemic problems that require unconventional approaches. Unconventional, like claiming you have quote enough manpower to clean up the entire city. What exactly does that entail? Because to our viewers it sounds just like a threat to our vigilante justice. What I mean by manpower is having the right team with the right skills and dedication. It's not about taking the law into our own hands, it's about supporting the city in ways the current infrastructure can't. But what are these deep systemic problems you're so eager to fight? You are being rather dark, Mr. Fletcher. Let's just say there are threats to the city that aren't as visible or easily quantified as crime rates or economic data. They are far more insidious, and while I can't divulge the specifics, I assure you that you won't have to wait long to see the results of our initiative. Mr. Fletcher, with all due respect, it all sounds like the plot of the science fiction novel. How do you expect the public to take you seriously when you speak in riddles? I understand the skepticism. I'm a stalwart believer in transparency, and in due time everything will be made clear. Right now, it's about laying the groundwork for a safer, stronger New York. Let's be frank, your narrative is steering more confusion and concern than confidence. Are you really suggesting there's a hidden danger so severe that it requires a controversial character like you to step in and have saved the day? It's not about me playing the hero, no, it's simply about tackling issues that have been overlooked for longer than... I'm sorry, Mr. Fletcher, but we're out of time. Thank you for joining us here today. But this is just in, folks. The Times Square bail new color for this New Year's Eve will be announced very soon, and I'm sure many of you are waiting for. So that was night 4, Vampire the Masquerade. Give a like, and take care of yourself.